We have two internet nerd buddies who joined forces to create the worst roller podcast on the internet. They made themselves internet famous by pissing off 50% of the listeners of Coaster Radio by making fun of Mike and EB's misinformation. They then continued to piss off another 50% of listeners by making fun of Trump supporters. I'm not very good at math, but I'm pretty sure there's nobody left to listen. But they create a great podcast anyways. Welcome to the show. We have your favorite Coaster Sucks, Zach and Ben. Woohoo! Yeah.
And we would really like to thank our listener for making this happen.
The one listener.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You were spouting off numbers. You're not totally incorrect. We still got Logan left. So shouts to Logan.
He's the only one that listens to our show as well. So it's really perfect. I don't know what we'd do without that guy.
He's going to get completely off on this video. Like, oh my God, they're collabing. I feel like Logan's a good guy.
He's gonna nut just when he hears us opening up the show talking about him.
I mean, it is kind of fun that a lot of the financial support comes from Canada. Like,
yeah, we're doing good things for the economy here in America, specifically through Logan. Logan, thank you so much.
How did you two meet?
Theme Park Review back in like 2005 officially, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep, when they launched up the Rob Albee forums. So when we were both good little coaster nerds back in the day.
Yeah, and like we would have met earlier, but my mom didn't want me to drive 2 hours to meet strangers on the internet when I was 15. So I had to wait until I was 17. And then we met opening day 2007 officially. And then throughout the years would hang out in the parking lot and smoke weed and drink. And that was kind of what started the podcast. It's still going. Pretty much like that exact type of conversation and hang out.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly where our dynamic came from. It's just making fun of all this shit while we're sitting there passing bowls or doing shots in the parking lot. Like, all right, let's go ride a couple rides. Holy shit, did you see that guy with that fanny pack? Oh my God.
We guys one time just sitting there like, we should record this. Like, this would be dope.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've always lived in different cities, so a lot of our friendship was on the phone talking about coasters for like hours. So it works naturally to just record it then.
Yeah, I don't know why we slept on it for so many years, but then finally one day it was like, oh shit, hey, we're two mildly informed white dudes. We could have a podcast.
I mean, that's kind of the whole reason anyone starts a podcast, I think, right?
I mean, you've got all the necessary elements there.
Yeah, it's
check.
It's like I think ours just started with theme park stud. We just started drinking IPAs, and then like the natural progression was to start a podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Did you guys know each other before you started the show, or were you like, I need to start a fucking coaster podcast, so I gotta find my mans?
No, we go ahead, theme park stuff, man.
Yeah, we've known each other since 2008. We worked at the Mamba at Worlds of Fun together as ride operators, and
okay.
Yeah, so we've just been kicking it. And in 2010, we went on our first coaster trip together. And then from there, we've just been doing coaster trips. And then, yeah, we started this podcast this year because, like, again, we've been talking about it for, like, I don't know, it's been over a year now. And then finally we're like, screw it, let's just do it.
The best way to do it, because you got a natural dynamic already, and it's a thing you share a fucking passion for, like a hobby. So it's like, yeah, you check all the boxes. Although, so you guys live close to each other now?
Yeah, we both live in Kansas City now.
About 20 minutes apart from each other, so
you guys get to like hang out frequently?
Parking lots, man. We are the parking lot pimps of 2020.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's pretty nice, but you know, we've lived far away from each other. I've lived in Kansas City with you living in Florida, and then I lived in Atlanta with him living in Florida. So somehow we just kept it going, I guess.
Yeah, and then I happened to move back, and now we're both back in KC.
Yeah. All right. So back to you guys. Do you guys have like any goals for your podcast, or is it just like you just get together and do this shit for fun?
I think we want to alienate everybody that's in the coaster community one by one.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Just like,
I mean,
make enemies left and right until there's nobody left to listen except for Logan.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get that guy in an argument.
yeah, I mean, it's fun actually like meeting people through it. So like it's fun to do it, but at the same time, like whenever we start going back to parks, like I've completely lost touch of the whole community. So this has been a nice way to actually like meet people because you hang out with them on the show, you kind of get to know them after a few hours, and then I think it'd be a lot of fun to actually like start meeting people in real life, and they bring a lot of fun back to the hobby. I think.
Have you
So
guys
that's my goal, just to meet people.
nice? Have you guys been like recognized in parks or anything yet?
No.
No, thank God. No.
Yeah, that sounds awful, to be honest.
We actually have Theme Park Set and I were doing like our first vlog from Worlds of Fun this year, and like we got a DM from somebody saying, "Hey, you were in line for Spinning Dragons today." And it's
That's
like
even worse than somebody saying hi.
Yeah,
though.
it was like hella creepy.
It's like, then you went to the bathroom for 3 minutes and then you walked to the food stand. What the fuck is going on here?
Wait, did they have like a profile photo on their account?
Nah,
Oh, that's even worse.
like a cartoon or like a Chiefs player or something.
Oh God.
Ugh.
At least it wasn't like an American flag.
That would be worse.
You know exactly who you're dealing with then.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you know what? Hey, just rant really quick. I think all of us should make Parlor accounts.
Have you heard about that?
I have
And
not.
start-
Is it like OnlyFans or what?
It's worse.
No, it's like the far right platform, the free speech platform.
Oh shit.
So you're allowed to share, 5 million votes were magically deleted by Democrats, those types of stories. So
It's like it's a really highly downloaded app within the last week or so.
Free Speech
Mhm.
Social Network. All right. And on their homepage, they just have a chick in overalls and flannel shirt.
You
Seems
want a
about
Canadian
right.
chick?
Yeah. See what we're getting into?
I respect that.
It's like
She's
the
either-
official social networking of OAN News.
Oh no. Oh man. So
she's
yeah, guys,
Good.
your podcast. Tell us about like your first episode of your podcast and like how much, if at all, your podcast has changed since then.
Well, I don't even remember what it was. Was it
Man.
was it about Arrow?
No, the first one was a ball of shit, man. We covered some news and we tried to like I tried to do this whole intro where it's like, I think I got the tone right, but there's no way for it to not be sloppy on your first go, So it's like the tone's right and the attitude's there, where it's this whole thing of like, we're not Rob fucking Alvey. We're not gonna wear a goddamn propeller hat and tell you how great every coaster is. Like, we're bordering on being those guys that are like, cry me a river, snowflake. We're about to talk coasters, but like, thankfully we didn't quite get to that line.
God. Now, did you always want to be because you guys are kind of like the comedy podcast, I would say, of like the roller coaster world. Was that kind of always your vision? Or is that just kind of how you guys talk to each other? Or?
It's kind of because like pretty much every time we talk about coasters, we just make fun of everything about it. So it's sort of just like a natural dynamic.
Yeah, like, I mean, this is kind of, we just put a little structure to the conversations we were having anyway as friends. Type up a little rundown, keep it on subject a bit, and go from there. I mean, in terms of doing comedy, I used to study at Second City in IO. I did stand up for a bit. I sucked. I was terrible. Don't look me up on YouTube, please. It's painful.
Oh my God, you're on YouTube?
I am. With my stupid fucking Goliath Laurent beanie and I'm wearing a button down with a tie and a sports jacket with jeans because I thought, hey, that's a good look to present how much of a stoner I am. and I did a bunch of shitty jokes about community college. You know,
I mean, that's a good thing to attack, though. I feel like there's
well,
lots of jokes to come up with there.
if you've got nothing to say, you can find something easily, you know?
Yeah.
But
I
thankfully,
just think
go ahead.
there's just a
Ben.
lot. There's just a lot to make fun of in theme parks, because I don't want to say like we stopped caring about theme parks, but I don't know, like when you're young and you're really nerdy and you're really obsessed and you're kind of like trying to follow everything, you're following all the news, and then you kind of grow out of it, and then you reach this point where it's like, well, no, theme parks are still fun. I just don't want to put this much like care or seriousness into it. And it's just like way more fun if you just like take it lightheartedly. And a lot of it's kind of a joke. So it's very natural, just kind of like find humor and everything about it.
Oh yeah, I mean a theme park is really entertainment. It's just an entertainment land, so might as well have fun with it.
Plus the kinds of guests you see and the types of people you see in the enthusiast market.
Yeah,
I've said it before, and I'll stand by it. I've met some of my best friends through this hobby, and I've also met the absolute worst fucking people I've ever met in my life through this hobby. There's very little middle ground. There's like really great people and world's awful scum.
It really is true. Like you don't, like when you start a podcast too, they don't really tell you that you're gonna come across that, but like I'm put in so many like weird situations just running social sites, like what, that person did what, and they DM us, like block shit. Like it's so wild that there are so many people that are amazing. Like you talk about, like Logan is like just like might be the perfect person, and then just like the other side of just what the hell is this?
Yeah, you don't have to really name names because it's too broad to even define.
Yeah,
the terrible ones. But it's like kind of like Ben was saying before, like the joy of doing the podcast is we talk to people and making these relationships, and after talking with someone for a little while, you can tell if they're one of the ones on the good side or one of the ones on the shit side. So being able to like talk with people and knowing they're the ones on the good side and forming those relationships is super rewarding. I don't know.
and that's something that you go ahead, man.
Sometimes people too that we've talked to that are so used to that like social media kind of like influencing mentality that they're just very robotic and very boring people. Like they just kind of like regurgitate the same lines over and over and over that are just trying to sell themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And those people aren't neither good nor bad. They're just kind of like,
There's a void in place of a personality.
Yeah, they're trying to sell something. They're not being a person having a conversation.
You guys talked about like kind of bringing the community together and meeting all these types of people. Is it just recently that you guys have been kind of bringing in other guests into the show and getting to know, or is that something you guys have always done? For those that haven't listened, like almost all of your like recent episodes, you're bringing in like other enthusiasts or other podcasters or YouTubers and kind of formulating a community there. Have you guys always done that?
At first, I don't think that was really our intention, but then we ended up just like, oh, we'll ask a few folks, and people started showing up, and then people started asking us to come on the show. And at that point, it's like, oh shit, this thing is kind of taken on a life of its own.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, we try to make a point of talking to people that we think will mesh with us well. But also, I don't know. I think we're trying to focus on doing some that are more just for us. I don't know. We do some where we like watch an old Rob Alvey video and give commentary or stuff like that.
That's awesome. Those
it's also funny and a little awkward when like we make fun of something or someone like at a certain point, and then we interview somebody who's like related to that joke or whatever, and like they probably haven't listened to our past episodes. So it's always like
that's starting to come up more now.
I'm gonna be honest.
But
Like when I went on your guys' show, like I kind of like I know you guys like dog on Rob Albee all the time, and I was always like, I don't really have a problem with Rob. But then I was like, I had to go back and listen to shows. I was like, how much do they dog on Rob? Do they actually dog on him? Or it's like I had to like study. It was pretty fun.
But it's kind of like that. That's that whole thing though. Like in the beginning, we didn't have any real. It's almost like we didn't have any like actual connection to the enthusiast group or whatever. So there's nothing to lose. And now at this point, it's like, I don't know. But at the same time,
people are paying
like,
attention now. God damn it.
but at the same time, though, too, it's like, making a joke about something doesn't necessarily mean you hate it. Kind of like it's a act of love in a way.
It is.
Yeah, and with the whole Rob Albee thing, I mean, we'll absolutely own up in that if TPR wasn't around, we wouldn't have fucking met each other. Like, it's as simple as that. So it's a big part of like how our friendship came to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've had personal experiences with Albee that we've delved into time and time again on our show. Not going to bore you with them here. That where it's not, I wouldn't say it's not unwarranted.
That's
a little
fair.
bit of playful calling him out and whatever. I think
the world needs that.
One thing to remember too about us is that we do everything in the name of fucking fun.
It is true.
We'd be more than happy to have him on and not call him out on shit and just talk to him like anybody else.
I feel like you guys are not afraid to lean into the joke when it's there.
Absolutely not, man. You get the best results. The thing is, it's almost like taking risks of like not like where the line is, but like, will this land? And it's just like, hopefully it does. And if not, I'm going to piss somebody off. But either way.
Well, sometimes too, it's like, it's kind of like how Alex Jones works, where you're like recording and you're trying to like be funny and you're drinking and you're, intoxicated. So you just sort of say a bunch of things. You say like a million things and you hope one of them sticks. But then you look back on it and it's like, oh shit. Like, there was a lot of directions there.
Just Rob Albee.
Oh my God.
It's fucking perfect. So as far as your show, do you guys have like any favorite shows that you've done or favorite guests that you've had on the show?
I gotta say, the episode we did with you, Coaster Bro, was fantastic.
Oh shit. I wasn't looking for a compliment there though. So I think you got to pick like something else.
We've had a lot of good ones. The ones we did just recently with Sean Flaherty were fucking incredible.
My God.
Yeah, I would say the best ones, or my favorite, are, I guess, like people who have been around the community for a really long time and they just have tons of stories to sort of like connect the dots of what are not like rumors or urban legends, but like sort of like stories in like the enthusiast world, but then like somebody who can like say that they were there, and you get like really deep, kind of like the Sean episode. That was a lot of fun.
Dude, Theme Park Stud, I don't think you've listened to it yet, but
I have not.
Sean Flaherty, for those of you that don't know, he's kind of like a well-known YouTuber / coaster enthusiast, and he used to be like the PR guy for Ace, is what I learned from listening to your guys' show. And he shared this amazing, just like wild story. And I don't even know if you know that this accident happened, Theme Park Stud, but there was an accident was it Hollywood Nights? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like 2000.
Well, they had a different name back then, but yeah, pretty much same event.
Okay. And there was a woman that basically got ejected and died, like from the ride. They were doing like 1-bar clicks and like seatbelts weren't being worn and that sort of thing, which was kind of like the norm back then for those events. And Sean was like the PR dude for Ace at the time. And the storytelling is just wild. He's talking about how he's in this room with like Will Cook and Paula, and they're just like talking through like what they're gonna say publicly, and it's just like like my jaw was just like wide open this whole story. So if you guys haven't listened to it yet, like stop our episode, come back, but like go listen to that shit. It's like it's long. There's a 2-parter, but like shit gets real in part 2. Like,
I mean, and also too, like if you're a new enthusiast and you wonder why parks don't do more for enthusiasts, that story is exactly why. And it was kind of like the first nail in the coffin for like enthusiasts, you know, getting privileges because it can't be trusted.
no, like the people are gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah, give them an inch and they take a mile for sure. So,
Like think about the worst people you see in your social media comments, and then just imagine those people doing one-click rides and unbuckling their seatbelts on roller coasters.
Just not using their brains at all. It's a sad story like that, but man, that.
And I'm just going to say it right now for everyone listening. Don't ever fuck with your restraints on rides. Just don't.
We've all been ride operators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 out of
Right.
4 would recommend wear it how it's supposed to be worn. Don't complain about being stapled. It's part of it.
Well, it's fine. You get stapled, but don't fucking undo it or try to fuck with it. Like,
I'm with you.
Coaster Brothers sound like a toothpaste commercial. 4 out of 4 of your local ride operators recommend riding the ride safely. Shit.
But did you guys realize? Oh, go ahead, man.
I was just because I worked the Sky Coaster and a skyscraper at Cedar Point, and those were, you know, those are essentially just straps. So rides you really shouldn't fuck with your restraints on.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like thinking as I get older, I realize like how dumb we were when we were on that ride.
Yeah.
So
Everyone has their stories of just doing dumb things as a ride operator. So I actually, when I worked at a Sky Coaster, I didn't do anything too dumb, luckily. So it was when I worked at the roller coasters. That's when I did stupid stuff. Coaster Bro knows.
I've never done those stupid things with you.
BS.
Distance. We long time ago. Can't remember the details. Real fuzzy.
Real fuzzy. All right.
But certainly don't mess with your restraints, because I know younger people listen to these shows.
Yes.
Guys, it's not fucking worth it. Go work as a ride op. You'll learn all the secrets, and you'll learn exactly why not to do that shit.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of being ride operators, do you guys have any like favorite stories from like being ride operators that you have? Preferably not about with fucking with your restraints, because we don't do that.
Well, I got one from when I worked Superman where somebody fucked up the restraint check and they missed the foot flaps.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So
they're just like dangling?
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, going, and then there's 2 just hanging. It's like, oh fuck, stop it, lift stop. So we had to call maintenance to come out and climb up and fix it.
They just like put their feet in the ride and say, all right, keep it going.
Pretty much, yeah. But you got to get maintenance to walk up. And I'm sure maintenance is the same at any park, where it's like old crotchety dudes that just like the last thing they want to do is the thing they're paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
oh fuck, I have to go do the thing that I'm hired for. Fuck you guys.
and it like amplifies whenever it's like a ride operator mistake too.
Oh,
They're just like,
yeah.
oh, these fucking kids like flick their cigarette. It's I fucking love maintenance guys though.
Yeah. There's like bourbon on their breath as they walk by and insult. Fucking kids. Didn't they train you how to work this fucking ride?
I remember when I worked at World of Fun, like it shut down and the maintenance guys, they were in union. So basically like they would come out there like, oh no, this is a mechanic shop. I'm not even going to touch this. And I was like, there's people trapped on the ride right now. Can we like do something? And they don't like light a cigarette, like call it over the radio. Like, oh, you guys, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had constant problems with our platform at our Sky Coaster, the hydraulic lift, and it kept leaking. And so it's very explicit in the manual that says if there's any leak whatsoever of the hydraulic system, you have to close the ride down. And so like they would come over, sit on the platform, smoke a cigarette in like a powwow circle, or like whatever, like 8 people. And then they would look at it, they pour kitty litter over the fluid, and then be like, "Oh, you guys are good." And then we would call them and be like, "Hey, our ride's down. Fluid's leaking again." So they would just pour more kitty litter on it. So we just had these like piles of kitty litter all around the platform.
You guys have a
That's
scissor
awesome.
lift, or was it the box?
It was a scissor lift, yeah.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I have some stories that I'd rather not share of like training maintenance people at Six Flags.
Oh,
There's
about the
Yeah, about Sky Coaster regulations, because I
Well, that was
remember
the-
like, oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, that was the funny part about it, because like we would have new maintenance people, and it was it was one of those things where obviously like a 19, 20-year-old site controller is trying to school a like 35-year-old maintenance guy on something. So obviously there's going to be that tension, but at the same time, you have to do your job.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Gotta be safe. That's what we're all here about.
All right. So the first time I ever heard about you guys actually was the time you like crashed the segment on Coaster Radio. And I just kind of want to hear, like, how did you guys just get on Coaster Radio as like a startup podcast? And how did you get half the world to hate you?
That shit's so funny. Well, before we actually started, I emailed Mike over at Coaster Radio, and I was like, "Hey, we're starting a Coaster podcast. Do you have any advice?" And I think actually we put out one, and I'm like, "Here's the link. Check us out." And he hit me back, and he's like, "You guys are great. You want to come on and do a segment?" And I was like, "Holy shit, yeah!"
Of course we do.
So that was just all luck, and I guess even despite the roughness of our first episode, Mike being so blinded by our bullshit that he was like, "Okay, these guys will work."
It's wonderful. So you guys are basically, what you did is you had like a 5-minute segment on each show for a little while of just correcting everything that they said. So anything they said that was wrong, or you were even sarcastic with it sometimes, which was pretty hilarious. But,
We're coming back too, so we will be back this season. I'm just waiting. We're not going on the every episode schedule. We're just waiting until we have enough good ones to send our first corrections in.
hell yeah. I'm excited for that. The world is going to be turned upside down.
And
gonna be great.
it's super fun to know that half of their listeners just fucking hate it.
Does that just make you like amplify like who you guys are more, or does anything change?
I think it just made us want to fuck with their listeners a little bit with the segment. Just like really lean in, like you were saying before. It's like, well, it's almost like taking like the Kanye approach and being like, well, half the people like it, half the people hate it, but guess what? Everyone's paying fucking attention, so let's just lean in and
They like us, they like us. If not, fuck it.
pretty much.
And one thing you guys also do is like on your social media, you guys will also lean into like political stuff and just state your opinions out there. And it's always been, some podcasts and people with this platform don't do it so much, but you guys are 100% like pedal to the metal. I'm going to say what I think here.
That is 100% me.
Yeah.
Ben is very wise and takes breaks from social media.
It's pretty smart.
So he's just like not there at all sometimes.
Yeah,
Nice.
I kind of hate it.
That's
Theme Park says the same way.
Like,
Exactly how I am.
So like I'll I reinstall the app, and then I'll do one thing, like post one picture and then delete the app, and then just wait 5 days or something.
Yeah, I went to Orlando a couple weeks ago, and I had to download Instagram just so I could like go live. And I went live for like 20 seconds, and I was like, I'm too drunk for this. I don't know what to do. I just exited out.
Yeah, when your plan was I'm going to go live from Drinking Around the World at Epcot, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you're going to.
Instagram lives are like a weird thing though, because like you gotta like come up with shit on your own.
Yeah.
Like you don't have anyone else to fall back on. You could like invite another person, but even then it's like
It's pretty tough. Because like sometimes I do an Instagram live show, Coffee with Coaster Bro, every like Saturday morning at 9. And like you don't know who's going to be in there. Like you kind of rely on like that crowd to be there to ask good questions. And if not, you're just kind of like All
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Just
You gotta, like,
rambling.
you got to monitor the chat, so you got to keep filling time. It's like, all right, we're not going to have dead air.
Yeah.
But we've talked about Iron Quasi for 90 minutes. I'm not sure.
I do now. All right, we got a question from a guy that was featured on our show, from Filthy Casual Kyle. And when you get a question from Filthy Casual Kyle, you know it's going to be a good one. So he asked you guys, which of my favorite coasters gives the best head? Your show is called Your Favorite Coaster Sucks.
I wanted to immediately jump on Jersey Devil just because of the train, but it's not open yet, so it's hard to say.
I think he'd like that ride. You don't know his favorite coaster, so this is very hard to.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of coasters that could probably give good head off the top of my head.
Would Banshee be?
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Banshee might
I
work.
feel like she could really,
Yeah.
well, you know.
It's
It's
Banshee
a fierce
lips.
one.
Like maybe Steel Vengeance with those like characters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
What are their names again? Does anybody know their names? I don't.
Boobs. I
Chase.
don't remember.
One's Chase.
Boobs.
Boobs, tits, and ass. I don't know.
The poor girl that had to play that character. I'm sure every coaster boy was like, "You're cool.
Coaster Boys definitely loved that character.
Can we hang out when you're off work?"
I'll DM you. Oh,
No, that's how the conversation starts. It's just an unsolicited dick pic, and then like, hey, can we hang out?
Hey, I found your personal Instagram. Ah!
That'd be wonderful. All right, so I guess we're going to say Steel Vengeance and Banshee. Both good answers. There you go, Kyle. That was a weird question, Kyle. Just going to point that out.
I mean, people have. There's that the lady that was married to the 1001 Knots ride. So, you know, people are into stuff that's. I'm not for me, but you know, you want to get freaky with a coaster. You got my blessing. I don't own one though. So you're going to probably want to check with the operator of the ride.
Or if it's Knoebels, I think you just walk in, right? Anytime.
Yeah, you might be able to just, you know, have your lusty eyes on.
Wasn't there like a True Life episode of like some guy like in love with a zipper ride, and he was like just like rubbing oil on his like face and stuff?
You're talking about the 101 or 1001 knocked at Knoebels.
Okay.
Yeah. She, and the thing is that I know
Lady.
that the grease they use in the bearings on those rides is carcinogenic. So I don't think she's gonna be living too long, to be totally honest. Yeah, that shit's very toxic.
We should DM her.
Let's get her on the show.
So you know.
At
That would be
this
a great
point, do you
guest.
think she would have caught COVID from the ride?
Like licking the seats.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, like, there's so many people just breathing all over it. If you're rubbing the oil and rubbing yourself all over it like you're a cat, at some point you're going to get some of the germs that are on there.
Oh. I think she seemed to be more interested in like the back end, like
Oh, yeah, she was.
the nuts and bolts.
We all know.
Oh, yeah. All the parts, all the stuff. That's what she wanted. Give me the nuts and bolts. She's like, ooh, lap bar.
1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks.
I just pictured like one of those self-positioning lap bars that has like a dildo taped to the end of it. Just like,
Or she buys one of those like Bluetooth powered like vibrators as she's like on the ride.
the remote controlled panties. She like slips the control into the control box. There's a new foot pedal here. Yeah, there's a new foot pedal on the ride. What does it do? Don't ask. Don't ask.
Oh.
All right.
You got to press it every ride or else she's going to come up to you afterwards and harm you.
You're going to get a bad guest comment.